can't tell people the weather is controlled by Gerald.
Right. All right, I think I'm good. Right. Hello, Essie. Hello. All right, hello. I'm good. Right. Hello, Essie. Hello. Hello. Let me check that you can hear me well, and everything works fine. Everything works fine. Okay, yeah, it should be working fine. Right. Right. That's good. Casey, the real mic. Hello, hello, hello. Rixie, never seen you here. Hello, welcome. The real mic. Hello, hello, hello. Singer, hello, hello guys. Give me a sec. Hello, welcome. The real mic. Hello, hello. About Singer, the theme. Hello guys. So I don't forget. Start talking about the market without showing the screen, as I like to do. Start talking about the market. Here we go. We have the screen on. That's good. Jean, hello, hello. Hi there. We have the screen on. That's good. Ray, hello, hello. Welcome. Hi there. All right. Let's give it a minute or two so people can join and we will get started. It sounds like you're join and we will get started. It sounds like oh shit, give me a second. Join and we. It should be fine now. No inception? Should be fine now. No inception. We are many. We're legion. Hello, Elon. Hello, Ray. Hello, everybody. Okay, we're good now? Good. All right, let's go. I'm so sorry. I have not realized. Gene, thank you. All right. So, guys, actually, I was wondering whether I'm going to do this anyways, all in all. Because those who've been following, I kind of gave instructions on what I think this is going to play out like. And those who did not follow the videos, I recommend you watch the prior week videos. They were all in all pretty, I think, insightful. I think we were able to break down a lot of stuff there and explain how we perceive the following week, which most of you have seen. And I said I was very honest about it, when the same way I'm trying to be, I really am making an effort to be objective about things when we go down, in the same way I try to be as objective as I can when we go up. So I was saying I'm going to make the bulls happy. People are hyper focused, of course, as we know, that is kind of the regular disease, are extra and hyper focused on what is going on from today compared to yesterday, right? And it sort of gets you get caught up in the day-to-day without realizing that all this effort, as I was saying, all in all, will be spent on trying to regain what we lost very rapidly. So we still are in a disposition, the market rather, not we, but the market is in this position of basically you would almost consider this as a, let's say, 5 steps down and 3 steps up. In fact, this is almost arguable. We can say this is almost a 4 steps up, right? So we retraced most of the action that we've done on our way down. But all in all, if we retain this, even if we make another way down, as I was projecting, but we will see the hourly channel has been readjusted. I would argue that temporarily so. What's going on? What am I missing there? Hello, Mike. Hello, hello, hello. So I would argue temporarily so, and the thing with the channel, because it can get readjusted because we get excessive highs, like in this instance, which honestly, if you guys watch the videos, I have said we might see the bottoms, or rather the price action actually exceed the gap. And right now, those of you who are more attentive, we are basically residing right on top of where the gap was. You see, this is where the gap was opened. We have a line to represent it. We deducted it on the smaller time frames. And what you can see, the price action is right now actively working, trying to figure out whether it's support or resistance. I would argue it's resistance, simply because we are left with no momentum to the upside. If you're going to look on the hourly chart, we're already starting to break down slowly into the territory, of course, the in between, and we start to break down onto the oversold territory. Stonks, hello, Mr. Duck. Stonks is our resident alien from Area 51. Shout out to the community members and shout out to everybody who joined, regardless of community, not community. Those who don't know what I'm talking about, there's a link in the description below to the Discord, to the Patreon. If you want to be a public member, go ahead, just join. It's absolutely free. Make sure to confirm the rules, otherwise you'll be stuck in limbo. All right, so all in all, let's kind of tackle this as we like to do this normally, right? So to keep things, consistent, if you will. 1 minute, not really interesting. The trend looks to be moving downwards, but we have about an hour left for the trading, which some of you know, the last hour can surprise. We've basically closed the gap above, and the gap we were supposed to close. Well, the gap above the one we have right now is not going to close. I don't think so, and we will perceive why I think that's the case. I'm not trying to upper one. No, not the upper one. You'll see exactly what I mean. Again, let's kind of, let's do as we usually do. Instead of trying to speculate outwards before we even went over the data, let's look at what the market is showing us. Again, 1 minute is not all that interesting. It's very fast. So all in all, I kind of skip it because it doesn't matter. It's going to flip over 100 times before we get just to end this session, so it kind of doesn't matter. You use this if you're a scalper. 5 minutes looks rather bullish, looks rather green, so we can still have a couple of dollars up. Unsurprisingly so, we generally are testing right now the 5,555.55. really, I think that's the resistance we are kind of dancing. You can kind of recognize it. Here it is. That's the 55555. Here it is. That's the line, and you can see the price action is just kind of testing above, below, and you can kind of see the price action trying to test. I don't think we will find support, even though temporarily so we're above it, right? And with bullish momentum, but that's just the 5 minutes. Remember, that can be chewed out in the next 20 minutes, and then it's going to flip over. You're going to have 15 minutes downwards. Not that indicative of anything, unless, again, you're a day trader or a scalper. Right now, we already had switched over, just like I was telling you on the 30 minutes. I was telling you, if you look back, this was pointed upwards. I was telling you there's a high probability that this will actually switch over and change direction. There you go. It's not a full wave. So we're starting to actually have this action point out and say, well, yeah, sure, you can have 20 minutes. Alexander Stoyanov. Whoa, that is very Slavic. Hello, sir. Good to see you here. I'm going to remove from the Discord some reason. Never sweared. Well, maybe some other reason. Maybe it took you forever to confirm the rules or anything. I recommend you get in touch with me personally on Discord. I'll take a look to what happened. I'll try to help you out. Can we check the SPY? No, I'm not going to go over the SPY because the SPY is a derivative and we prefer to go to the source. The SPY is a lot more smoother and it does not have certain parameters that we would like to have in order to extrapolate the outlook forward. I recommend, and I keep on saying that all the time, guys, go to the source. The source is tremendously important. If you don't look at the source, what you're going to get is a very skewed perception. And more so if you use technical tools, they themselves will be skewed because you're having an incorrect thing. Thank you in advance. Where can I find you? Just Discord. Go to the Discord. You'll find me. You probably should know how to reach out to me. Send me a message. Okay, a DM, direct message, and I will try to solve your issue personally. Please, right now, don't spam the chat with it. I personally tend to it. I give you my word. Appreciate the analysis. I appreciate you. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for joining. Again, right now, it's not, let's not get stuck on this, but please talk to me on Discord. I'll definitely be more than happy to help you sort things out. Of course, unless I hope you didn't break any rules. All right, so let's continue. 45 minutes, again, very indicative. We saw this happening, but we are kind of, most of the momentum is being spent on mitigating the upwards movement. Basically, we are starting to see here that we're more or less starting to get here this sideways movement, so we're not really making any progress. Yes, one day up, another day down, another day up. So all in all, we don't really do anything, right? Or 45 minutes, rather, one candlestick up, down. Right now, we're kind of stuck in a range, unsurprisingly so, around that level of 5,555, as I told you guys. From here on out, let's go 1 hour. 1 hour actually starts to be more of an indicative time frame, because let's be frank, 1 hour can actually allow us to project, let's call it a session and a half outwards. So we're kind of looking at Monday from here on out, because this session is pretty much chewed up. We have just this candlestick getting closed in about 30 minutes. So all in all, we're kind of done and done. Then we have another candlestick, which is halfway before we go into post-market, right before the market closes. Now, so all in all, it looks very prepared to go bearish, right? We spoke about this just a video ago. Appreciate you appreciating. Casey, you are a legend. You are one hell of a legend. Hello, Jebek. Good to see you guys. I mean, come on, no, really. This is, it's, you know, it's not a given. Let me stop for a second. It's not a given that people take time off their day. Most people more so are very confident they know everything about the market and they don't need anybody, regardless of our level of expertise. And yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, coming in here, you know, hanging out with the people, listening to what I have to say, whether you like it, dislike it, agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. You're basically doing me a huge favor by being a part of this gathering, right? I enjoy this gathering. You know, to each their own, of course. I do hope you enjoy yourself and you really gather something yourself, you get some knowledge out of it. I'm here to learn. Appreciate. No, that's good. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to get people to learn. The basics. When I'm discussing these things in the community with people, oftentimes it feels like people are missing a lot of the foundation, and it's very important, because you cannot then talk about the advanced and more complex stuff, because again, the foundation is not there. And the more people will have it, the greater it is for the overall community, and just for any person. People like to pursue knowledge and be better at what they're doing. This is the goal here, to give people that as well. So yeah, of course I enjoy this. Guys, I've been telling you, 4 hours is going to be very scary. It was we're getting ready to basically squeeze out. At this moment, you can kind of see, even through the candlesticks, that we are really running out of momentum. But then again, next week can start very differently. We can gather new momentum. But if we're looking at the indicator is literally sitting at 100%. So, and we've been moving within the overbought territory for quite a while. You know, that is normal. That's a normal procession of the market, but still, that procession that we're having right now is very indicative of a reversal. In fact, it's very hard and pretty much impossible to see, but there's a reason why you're seeing the orange color right here more dominant. Okay, that orange color represents the bearish momentum, meaning the bears are on top, although right now both indicators, both lines are squeezed to the full 100, to the full max. The reason is that right now, technically, the bears are more dominant. And they're not dominant because they're putting in more money. It's because simply the bulls ran out of money, or momentum, if you will, or volume, or money, again, they're willing to put on the table, rather, it seems like. Because they were putting less and less of it, and slower and slower and slower as we were going. So, daily. I was talking about it just literally 2 days ago in the last video. I made a big boo-boo there when I posted the wrong link, but those who have not watched, you should. You can see this was not starting to tilt the curve yet. We were having this formation still going up. I said, guys, we're 1 second from starting to have that convergence formation, in which, again, as we always see, once the orange becomes more dominant, overtakes, we go bearish, right? So remember, the context of everything is that we've made 5 steps down, 4 steps up, and right now, if we're going to continue downwards, we're retaining the downwards momentum. Remember, the trend is overall going to be downwards, and this is what we're starting to see, the build up towards. It doesn't matter, even if we're going to squeeze $10 more, cool, but we're still maintaining the trend down. It doesn't matter. The market have slippages. We spoke about this. Those who can look to the previous videos, the one that I've made 2 days ago, the trend on on the hourly was still a downtrend. Right now it's diverted simply because of the high price action that we got, because we broke through that longer duration trend that we've been having for quite a while, for several months at this point. Honestly, it's about a month and a half. Let's say we can call it several months, because we're closing on the 2-month moment, which is normal. We can have this price action, which is, again, I kind of put it inside the trend. In reality, the trend is, well, I did it all wrong. You can look in the previous video, you'll see it's a lot steeper, basically. So this entire partition is outside the trend. More so, one of my students here is currently in the chat. I hope Jean is there. Jean can tell you guys that we spoke right before the session started. In fact, during the pre-market, and lucky for me, we had the opportunity to have a short call, and I told him, Gene, look, we're gonna open up probably here with a spike. It's gonna look very abnormal, because it seemed as if we're hitting the head right at the ceiling, right? And it will be almost the right place to have that bull trap sort of build up in this way. Well, you think, well, no, look, it's wrong. The new trend is going to come in. We just broke through the diagonal resistance that we had, and I even said it's going to be formed in a spike. It's going to be very rapid, immediate as the market will open. It's going to be very weird, very kind of irrational, breaking the pattern that we were building up as we were going. You can ask Gene. It happened exactly as I said, literally minutes after I said it. Yeah. It was I mean, again, it was the most sort of the least expected, look, the most irrational thing, and will confirm to the bulls that no, everything is fine, we're actually being bullish. People again will lose sight. By the way, most didn't even realize, which we haven't really broken yet, we still might, but technically speaking, we haven't even broken the high from before. So technically this high is actually still is a lower high. You can see it on the screen right in front of you. There is no cheating, there is nothing. In line formation, you're not even going to be able to recognize it. Guys, by the way, that's why we use Japanese candlesticks, because you see this way we can recognize what's actually going underneath the surface. Okay, so what you can see, this is technically still as a lower high, following the pattern, the natural behavior of a bull trap that is building up. And when you think from below, of course, you think, well, no, it looks like it's going to be bullish. No, it's not. And in fact, we still might squeeze a little bit more, even go above this line temporarily, just to make you feel as if. Don't forget, most people will judge this area by the bodies. In other words, give or take, what is that, 5,540. Okay, so we already are technically have done and created the bear trap. Okay, so this is already a trap. We have the gap below. Some people want to know whether we're going to see a closure of this gap. No, I don't think so. In fact, as you can tell by the 1 hourly chart, if we're from here on out on the next session, we're going to start moving downwards, we're not going to have enough momentum to close it up, right? It's simply not going to play well with what we're seeing already just on the hourly chart. As we said, 4 hours is also just as bad. We're completely far too hot and basically squeezed to the hell out. So ready to correct downwards, starting to be we're starting to create that formation of convergence. So we are just maybe one session, 1 day away from actually having that convergence and becoming more indicative of the movement downwards, right? This is the daily, and remember, the further out we go, the scarier is what you're going to see. This is the one caveat that we have, a big problem, so to speak, in my thesis, the weekly, right? But no, what we're going to have this, before we're going to have here convergence, similarly so, and something I've explained to my student, these time frames, once we go to the weekly, once we go above the daily, basically, these partitions represent a rhythm. The market has what I would describe as a rhythm. It has a lot to do with harmonic patterns, those of you who know what I'm talking about. And what we're starting to see here is basically the outcome, the technical tool that we're using, that the stochastic RSI, sadly doesn't have a 0 point, and it is kind of a shortcoming on behalf of that tool. And a lot of people basically, as I said this before in the previous videos, assess that the tool simply goes well up and down, and indicates to us every time it goes up, time to go down, every time it's down, time to go up. That's not how the tool works. There is a harmonic pattern, there is a structure to the overall cycle. Now, what you're seeing is the cycle, but in flattened form, in 2D almost. And that's why at times you will assess that, yes, we're just going to penetrate, right, and climb back up the same way we did here. Other times we do other things, like we do well in that we spend time in that oversold territory, amplifying the effect. The more time the indicator shows us, basically cannot go below this area. It cannot go into the zero to show that, well, the selling momentum is being amplified. Basically cannot, it's almost like as if your speedometer cannot show you above 180, but technically you're already flying at 200. Okay, that's kind of what's going to happen here. It cannot do that. Hence, your speedometer will be twitching at that 180 kilometers or miles, if you will, right? No, in miles it's going to be different. It's going to be like, what do you guys do? 70, 80, something like that, 50. But so you get the idea. This is not indicative the same way you think. In fact, this is very indicative of an acceleration into the downside, a bearish momentum. What this bearish momentum have done so far, this entire structure that we've done, often people say, well, where it is, guys, here it is. It's very simple. What you're seeing, the movement from 5669 all the way to, what is that, 515, even lower. Yeah, around the 5150 there. So all this move, here it is. Then you had this correction, this convergence that you've seen throughout these couple of weeks as projected. If you remember, I started making the final sort of last videos about 2 weeks ago, telling you how I'm gonna make the bulls more happy. I'm saddened to say, guys, it seems like we're either already done with that, you know, me making the bulls happy. That's it. It's we're kind of, you guys squeezed out everything you had, and you have not made it all the way to the top yet. And the market is still, as I said, is very much pointed down all on the larger time frames. On the monthly, it seems we can project, let's say, 1 month out from this, 1 or 2. You guys are already, we're all going to see convergence between the K and the D here. Okay, the D is going to become dominant. In other words, the bear momentum will start accelerating, and we're already seeing it on the smaller time frames. Remember, this is delayed. You're currently seeing the entire movement of the entire month converged into a single candlestick. If I remove the junk here, you can see that this, I will almost call this a predictive candlestick. It already implies the change in direction, how the market is starting to pull down. More so, remember, this candlestick has 14 more days to close. Give me a sec. I think I'm missing a lot on the chat. I'm going to stop for a sec. Roar. Everybody, no, I'm not a bear. Steve-O, you remember during health, F it, I'm gonna say it. Remember during COVID, I was the guy who predicted the COVID bottom, and I was bullish before anybody even spoke about it, and everybody were still bearish. You can find that video. I think that video still does exist on my YouTube channel. You can go and look it up. And I was bullish. So what now? What's the change? There is no bullish bearish, guys. My positions are based. Hammer, Singer, very good, very good. Claps, chapeau, very good. Hammer, correct, sir. Those who don't know, a hammer is a candlestick that basically has this formation, looks like a hammer, which is indicative of hammering the price action down. Singer, very good, Singer. Talk to me on Discord if you're a public member. I will give you a month free on me just for that knowledge. I love that. You guys are amazing. It's not bear talk. No, Mike, it's not bear talk. It's not true. I was very bullish. I'm not bearish or bullish. I'm simply analyzing. I'm giving you what the market shows us. You do what you want to do with that. Not necessarily crash, but it indicates that the price action is changing direction to the downside, yes. Just look at the charts. Kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Just look at the charts. Very good. No, absolutely. By the way, which is amazing. By the way, Brian, I gotta say that Palantir has surprised me quite a lot. I mean, all in all, I said this before. Those who, and there will be people who say, "Oh, look, it broke through the 30." Which, by the way, let me bring in another chart from another spot here. You'll see exactly what resistance we're residing on, and I kind of did know that we're gonna have an issue with it when we will get to it. Okay, it's this chart. So that's Palantir. You see we have that resistance. It's a golden pocket at 32.40. As you can tell, the price action perfectly started to test it, got rejected, we're going down. So far it did not confirm it, but I am quite impressed. I didn't think we're going to be able to break that 3103, or call it just 31 if you will. In general, psychological 30. I thought we're going to get caught up in here, spend the time right before the market basically reverts back. So all in all, this is actually quite impressive. Sadly, those who did not capitalize on this move upwards, you might as well not talk about the fact that no matter of that. Look at it. If you look on the grand scale of things, it is almost like this sort of movement, and then you're going to tell me, well, look at that. We had a moment where we were doing well. If you do not capitalize here, and when you're going to go down, it doesn't matter. You're still going to... The ROI that you see temporarily, if you don't take the profits, it's just a number you see. It's meaningless. Pump, 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 pump. Let's pump everything. Pump the market. Of course, guys, again, you don't have to listen to me. You might as well disagree, say I'm crazy. I don't mind. We all have. I used to work at the trading floor with a whole bunch of analysts, and we all had a different opinion, and it's okay. We're all adults here. If you don't agree with me, good. At least you'll be knowledgeable about what I'm talking about, and then you'll be able to do whatever you think is right for your portfolio. I'm simply presenting what I see. You do with that information whatever you want. Okay, that's kind of the shtick here. We're not speculating here even. Let's go down to business, because I think I'm kind of soon out of time and I need to run soon and I want to get this done. So on the monthly, nothing has changed. We haven't even started the pain. All this process of sort of out buying and out selling back and forth, it is the process of basically finishing the momentum. Right now, the market, the bears are basically running on fumes and have been running on fumes for the past, I would argue 2 weeks or so. So I think it's a matter of time. Here, those who've been following, again, the structure is not that simple. It simply doesn't go up and down. I would argue that very soon we're going to see a reversion here and going down. That's more of a trend structure, if you will, within the indicator, similarly to what you can see here. It's not that straightforward as you imagine it, okay? Now, so in all, although we are bullish right now, temporarily, very, very shortly, as a breather on a downtrend. It feels very bullish, it feels very good, and humans, we, as I tend to sort of, humans, right, we have the tendency, if we see the market go up, we think the market is gonna go up. Going up, so gonna go up, to the moon. No, the opposite. The process more works like if we've been going up, we probably should be going down, a corrective movement. If we've been moving down, we should be having a corrective movement upwards, vice versa, right? So if you notice, right before this sort of change, although in the larger time frames it's still almost invisible, right? Notice what's going on here. If we were having a movement to the upside, right, that is a long movement, let's call it a 10-pointer, and 2 points down, corrective move, we still maintain and keep 8 sort of points out of the process, continue moving. Here you start to see something else forming. You start to see a longer movement downwards with a corrective movement up. Again, I could be wrong, we could continue upwards and all of this will fly out the window, right? There are more sophisticated harmonics at play here, which could imply that I'm potentially wrong about this point being the highest point or the last point. Could be. I'm quite prepared for that. All in all, it doesn't matter. What we're seeing, why do I say that? Because on the larger time frames, what we're seeing doesn't matter whether we're going to spill over right here or right here. If you do not capitalize on these changes, it's meaningless. Of course, you should be attentive to this trend, right? Should be attentive if we're going to continue moving upwards towards that limitation. But more so, you should be aware that there's a larger cycle at play. Oil is still high. Inflation is still high. Geopolitical tension is still here. There are so many things that haven't even showed their ugly sort of outcome, the reverberations, the ripple effects of yet fully. And people really think that's it. soft landing. In fact, I would argue we're still somewhere up in the air. The only good thing is that we don't have one engine up in flames. And I would argue that that is only temporary, because actually I think the Fed effed up this time. I'm not going to say I'm going to have changed my mind. Of course, I have not. But I was assuming earlier, if you look at the videos before, the Fed will wise up and will do the right thing before the time runs out. At this point, I would argue the time have ran out, and I've been saying for quite a while we're in recession. And it's not about whether we believe it or not. And as Tom correctly said, we all need to, be grateful for this entire mishap and nonsense that's going on to the Biden administration that chose to push the change of the definition of what a recession is. And let's be frank, we are in a recession, and it's going to get worse. This is only the first signs of it, and only the wise people, so to speak, will be able to recognize it, in my opinion. Again, remember, all of it is my meandering opinion. I could be wrong about this. Let's continue before I have to run away. Actually, let's just clean it all up. Sorry, ladies and gents, real quick. Okay, I think that should be good. No, let's clean up just a little bit more. All right. So we said 3 months. I have not changed my thesis about this process reverting downwards very, very shortly. Basically within, I call it shortly, within about a month and 15 days when we're going to get the next candlestick, we're going to, while the buildup of this one still has the time, of course, in this upcoming month and a half, if we'll have a movement downwards as I'm projecting, this candlestick and this entire next movement, the projection forward will look very differently as we will go forward. So you do you, I don't do options. I actually say that in the description of the channel. Subsequently, basically what you're seeing here on the 3 months is, in fact, let me just show you. I'm marking the entire thing, right? Look, I just marked the entire thing. What you will see on the 6 months, on the half year, is that this entire thing is just this little knob, right? So it represented in more of a sort of overarching engulfing structure. All in all, they imply the same thing. If the 3 months will start spilling over and moving downwards and do that for literally just one candlestick, guess what? The next 6 months, which also closes within 4 months and 16 days, will converge and revert downwards the same way we've done in the process similarly here. Right? So we don't have to go all the way up before we revert downwards. My assessment here is that we're going to revert and start moving downwards. Okay, a corrective move. We actually saw it in larger scale right here on the 3 months. And of course, the scariest thing, which you all need to understand, that everything we've seen so far in this entire structure is the process of switching over. And those who didn't notice, and I've said this, and I warned about this during COVID itself, and as we were building up this entire structure, that we will be going sideways for a long time. I did assess that one of the candlesticks, of course, will stick out, but not like this, not like a sore thumb. Again, 4.5 months to close this candlestick. All in all, the damage is basically being mitigated, but we still are on a movement downwards. These are very persistent, very uniform, very singular movements, okay? And these take forever to complete. What we can see here is this is every single candlestick is a year. So what we can perceive from this is we're going to be spending the next 2 years to 3 years. I believe and hope it's going to be only 2.5. So by the 3rd year, we're actually already climbing out. And I could be completely wrong about this. This could take a lot longer, the entire next presidential administration, basically the 4 years. And that will be the argument of the Democrats, if you will, for the next attempt to run. They will be saying, look at how bad the economy got during Trump's days. Of course, we understand who we're talking here about. And they will say, look, the Republicans effed up, and how bad everything was, because relying on people's short-term memory, that nobody will remember that actually Trump inherited that horrible economy that they basically have created with their wonderful Bidenomics and just the other crap that they have done. Guys, I'm so sorry I have not been attentive today to the chat as I usually am. I try to, but today I'm kind of in a rush. I'm trying to get this done before I need to run away. In conclusion, great day. I see the toilet. I'm already amused. We're marking dump. All right. Um, I mean, yes, leveraged bulls are going to be pretty much going to the casket. You are correct. Mr. Stonky got the gist of it very correct. Like, again, I could be wrong. This entire process is so prolonged and not certain. The methods that I use have so far yielded me very high success rates. You can ask around the community. In fact, I teach technical analysis. I kind of know what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. And those of you who remember COVID days, again, when I said we're gonna hit COVID bottom, everybody were saying I'm insane. The world is coming to an end. And when I was bullish, it even took 3 to 4 months for people to even to accept that reality. Give me a sec, guys. Sorry, my phone is off. Anyways, I really need to run. I really need to run. I hope I was able to show you and bring you up to speed. And that's it. You guys are more than welcome to join our community. The links are in the description below and all that wonderful stuff. And I really need to run and, see my friends and hang out a little bit for the Friday. I will see you either over the weekend in the community Discord, or I will see you next week. Much love, ladies and gents. Much love. See you all. Yep. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you all. Don't forget to, do the stuff that YouTube likes, the smash, the subscribe, the like, all the blah blah nonsense and wonderful stuff. Love you all, ladies and gents. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.